Crescent Communities, fostering community is at the heart of everything we do. Our differentiated approach touches our projects from site selection through programming and design. Nonetheless, until recently, we had not extended our approach into the realm of sales and leasing. Then came Crescent University. Crescent University is a program designed as a seamless passing of the baton to the property management teams. As the face of Crescent to the consumer, we want our site teams to understand our culture, our vision and values, and the why behind each of the unique communities they represent. The 2.5-day session is comprised of an overview of Crescent as a company, a property overview led by the development manager, working sessions that explain how our staff can sell an experience instead of a feature, and tell a story instead of checking off a series of predetermined questions. Ultimately, our goal is to inspire loyalty, ensure we have the most effective sales teams, and promote the Crescent brand throughout the entire process. We are dedicated to creating an experience that connects with consumers and inspires our property management partners.
So as far as the Crescent University experience, I would say it's very, very different from most of the kind of leasing training that we're normally fed doing what we do. Having that opportunity to spend time with the developers, pick their brains, have them do the brain dump to you to help you get on the same page as far as what's the purpose of why we did this? You know, why did we decide to do this brick on the building? Why did we decide to do these types of finishes? Why this neighborhood? All of those things are hugely helpful in our job that we do, and most of the time we miss out on getting any of that.
The Crescent University experience was really great for me personally. I put a lot of thought and my heart and soul into the design and development of this project, specifically in this case, it being my first ground up project that I've led from start to finish. And so was just really in tune to the details of fitting this building into this site in Dilworth, in a historic neighborhood. And so the experience of being able to share that with the folks who are going to be ultimately selling the product that we've created to the end customers is something that's it's really missed in a lot of cases, and was just wonderful to be able to share all of those details. That I think is really, it was something that was very rewarding, and I feel like could have been a missed opportunity had we not been able to go through the Crescent University process.
This is a unique experience with Crescent. Crescent University is something that I personally have not yet experienced in my career on a third-party basis. I've worked for a smaller boutique developer before that felt like their approach was special, and it was in the market they were operating in. But Crescent's approach is certainly something that we don't see in third-party management for sure. But even, I would say, self-performers don't go to this level of detail to have this type of a training program for their on-site associates. My experience, my takeaway, my team's takeaway, my regional manager's takeaway is that they feel completely supported by Crescent and Crescent's dedication to helping them succeed. And so it's not every day that you have a developer or a client that hires you to make them look good, but they're just as invested as to making you look good. And I think that's what makes Crescent unique, and certainly Crescent University unique. And that whole entire experience teaches our team to be better producers long term, and they really understand what people are looking for when they walk in the door, and that's going to give someone an experience that they wouldn't have had elsewhere.
And promote the Crescent brand throughout the entire process.
Biggest thing I learned probably in the classroom setting is the importance of integrating story, whether that's your story, finding out your prospect's story, the community's story, how important it is to integrate that into every conversation that you have with a prospect on site. It's very easy to get in a mode where someone walks into your office and you say, okay, what's your name? How many bedrooms do you need? When do you need to move in? Okay, boom, that's it. And then just to have that reminder and that knowledge to kind of reset that and remember that first and foremost, what we're doing is about creating a relationship and a real connection with everyone that walks into that leasing office.
All of that process and all the investment we put into determining the why and the canvas sessions and the thoughts and details that go into the design, all of that can be explained, and I think the prospective residents love to hear that story. They love to tell their friends when they come over about the reclaimed wood that was used to, build their wine rack in their unit from a tree that had been on the site before. Without Crescent University, it's so easy to sort of just stop with the finished product and tell somebody else to lease it up. What Crescent University does is it gives you the ability to take all of those details, all that thought and process that went into the product, and weave it into the story that the sales team's able to relay to the prospective residents.
It's about really opening up about yourself and opening up yourself to hear about your prospect and what's important to them and who they are as a person, and use that as your basis for your sales pitch, so to speak.
We're being gifted this information. It's going to help us do our job more efficiently, better, and have just the long-term effect of our teams feeling valued, but also that we're caregivers of this building, and prospects that come in can feel it. It's a difference. It's a game changer.
And so to be able to have that time to pick their brains and have them, share with you and kind of pass the baton, so to speak, to you, that connection is invaluable to have that. And it's very rare in what we do. To have that foundation of Crescent U, to know, what their thought process was, what is their desire for what this place is going to be. It really helps you to make those day-to-day operational decisions. When you know what everybody is looking for and what everybody wants the experience to be, it really helps you to even operate on a day-to-day basis in the small things the best way possible and the way that Crescent wants you to operate.
Where you drive the value, I think, is being able to specifically being able to go through detail by detail what is the value add of that enhancement, and the thought process that went into the hand scraped walnut flooring and why it was selected, and that it's that each individual upgrade, for instance, when the person selling that understands and is able to explain each of those upgrades relative, in this case, to a standard unit, that's where you're able to drive value.
Meeting Michael at the site, having someone who is so passionate about what he's created, and to walk us through every single part of that community and just talk about the stones and how and who used to live in Dilworth and all those things. You could see, I could watch my team, light bulbs were just shooting off everywhere. Everyone was thinking to themselves, I'm going to use that later, or I didn't know that about Dilworth. And I think that was the real power in the whole presentation, was that we're giving our teams their own experiences to then relay back to a prospect. And that's something that you're just not going to find anywhere else. The experiential part of it and everything that we had in the classroom setting where we were role playing, that again is something, we do it as a training tool in our own management company. Greystar has training for our associates, but not this. This is making connection. This is helping people fall in love with the location, and then we'll find you an apartment. You know, those are two completely different experiences. So I think that's my takeaway, was just the power in the developer's vision and what he imagined Crescent Dilworth was going to be, because it helps our people then imagine it for someone who's going to live there.
Yeah, I think the impact of Crescent University is going to translate to a higher closing ratio. Is that when somebody comes in there, hopefully they leave with the belief that this is where they have to live. So really changing it from, I need a place to stay, I really want to live there, to there is no other place I want to live than this Crescent community. And hopefully with Crescent University, we're really providing the leasing agents and the property management teams in general the tools to articulate that message to them of how our community is unique and different from others that somebody may be looking at, and why the choice of living at a Crescent community is the right choice for them.
When we learn in our industry how to do sales, a lot of it is figure out what they want and then how to make what you have fit that. And I think that you can get kind of focused, in your sales pitch normally is you're just kind of walking through and you're pointing out, this is our fitness center, this is our business center, these are our white cabinets. And, you know, kind of taking that to the next level, and instead of saying, these are our white cabinets, aren't they beautiful? To say, you know what, when Crescent built this building and they were thinking about what they wanted it to be and what kind of experience they wanted the residents here to have, they looked at those homes in Dilworth and they said, what are these people who are purchasing these homes and renovating them, what kind of kitchens are they putting in those? And then they decided to draw from that when they created this kitchen. Isn't that cool? And that's such a better conversation to have with a potential resident than, aren't these white cabinets pretty? You know, you're making that mean something, and it goes beyond just pretty finishes, because A, B, and C down the street, guess what? They've got really pretty finishes too, but they don't have the story that you have.
A lot of Crescent University is not necessarily about the specific property we're selling, but it's how you sell. It's the ability to connect with somebody. And connecting through stories is a way that you create a lot of comfort when you're talking to a potential resident. And if you can create a connection with them, you know, ultimately there's going to be some sort of interaction or a spark, or, you know, again, customer service is going to really be elevated in that regard. And with so much product coming online, customer service is going to differentiate and be a deciding factor in why people choose where they live. There's a lot of choices in housing, and we want someone to feel very comfortable and excited about their decision. And there's a lot of nice product, but if you can connect with them with a story and back that up with customer service, they're going to choose you over a competitor.
One of the things that I truly respect is their dedication to legacy and their dedication to doing the right thing and to providing an experience that no one else is having, and being proud of that. That is something to be proud of. That my associates want to go from one Crescent asset to another, that's meaningful. There's a lot of pretty real estate out there. The experience they have with Crescent is meaningful. And so they've inspired their own stark raving fans, because these people are loyal to Crescent because of what Crescent gives us.